guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the Cosmic Barbecue with me, Matt in the Real World, Mikey J. Shields, and Jim Dammit. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's
Good
it going?
afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey. Hey, guys.
How are we doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's what I like to hear. Lockdown's been lifted, pubs are open, everybody's sort of going back to normal. You going to any pubs?
No.
Probably not.
That's a hard no.
That is definitely a hard no.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister actually says that it's your patriotic duty to go to the pub. So that makes you a traitor.
Right. Okay, good. Well, this pod took a turn. Mikey, what you got for us? You got something? You got something brewing?
Yeah, I've got something brewing. I'm about to blow your fucking mind.
Okay, hit us, man.
So basically, this is the Cosmic Barbecue. We've explored food. We've covered the barbecue. We've not actually gone into anything of the cosmic yet. So I figured let's do it. Plus, I recently stumbled across this theory, which I massively am buying into, which is that we are living in a simulation, right? The chances are that we are living in a simulation, and I'll go through the entire concept. But my aim for over the next sort of half an hour is for you guys to be convinced, like I myself am, we're living in a simulation. All right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm a million percent into this.
So let me take you back, because my journey started recently when I watched a series called Upload on Amazon Prime. Have you guys seen it?
No,
I
have not seen it.
It's a really good concept of a TV program. It's basically just before you die, you can choose to be uploaded. This is obviously set in the future, a few years into the future, but you can choose to be uploaded. So have your mind uploaded into a computer, and you go to like a version of heaven, and all these different companies have their version of heaven, which you can get uploaded into, and then you spend eternity in this fucking like simulation, basically, which is the afterlife.
Okay.
It's a really cool concept, and there's things like upgrades that you can pay for in this like simulation that you live in, and you can still interact with people in the real world via screens and stuff, so you can still contribute to society, which is just fucking mad, right? So that got me thinking. I was like, well, is it actually possible? Are we in any way near to the point of a human brain being uploaded to a computer? And apparently, like the science is kind of, we're on the right path. But there's no definitive answer as to whether we can or not, because of the amount of understanding we have of the human brain, right?
Okay.
But there's a thought experiment that says that if you were to change one neuron in the brain with an artificial chip which does the exact same job, does the same sort of computational process, and then you did it again for another one, and then another one, until eventually the whole brain has been changed into a computer, and then consciousness therefore is then just being artificially simulated.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
You still with me?
Yeah.
So the idea of us being able to do it, and I think the theories and things that are there, which suggests that, you know, as science progresses, that we can eventually get to a point where we can simulate consciousness on a computer. The actual, like, I won't go into the science of it. I've watched a lot of videos of it, and it's mind blowing, the amount of actual like processing power that you need for a computer to have to simulate like a brain and all the different synapses and the functions. It's obscene.
Okay.
But
staggering.
But the way science is going, it's not out of the question that we'll get there, right? So Elon Musk, one of the biggest sort of proponents, somebody he like really believes in this. He says there are basically three assumptions, three assumptions about the future, which leads him to believe that we're living in a simulation. And he says one is that we don't advance to the point where we can run simulations that are believable and lifelike. Two, we do advance as a civilization, but we choose not to, whether it's for what's the word?
Moral reasons.
Moral reasons. That's it. Yeah, moral reasons.
Okay.
Or third, and most likely, we do develop to that point, and we do choose to run them.
Right. So just backtrack 2 seconds. Elon Musk is saying, what were those points 1, 2, and 3? They were the reasons why he thinks it is likely that we're living in a simulation.
So does he think we're option 3?
He thinks that it's like 1 billion to 1 that we are not living in a simulation.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Because based on the science and like the idea of either we don't advance to that stage where we can run simulations that are believable, which is unlikely, or we do advance to that stage of humanity, but we choose not to, which he thinks is also unlikely. So therefore, the most likely solution is that we do run, we do advance to that stage, and we do choose to run those simulations.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then, therefore, there's simulations on simulations on simulations, and it just keeps going because, if we are living in a simulation and we eventually advance to a stage where we can run them, then it's endless.
So our sort of artificial sort of brains are so powerful that they work out how to run a simulation within their own simulation.
Yeah,
which means so what he's saying is that's already happened. Is that what you mean? Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
And we're just it's a lot of like an idea of like post-humans and us having developed to a point where we've harnessed enough power or we've developed enough computational power that we can actually do it, because in order to run a simulation that's believable, you'd only need to have the computer power to run enough processes in a human mind. You wouldn't need it to generate the whole of human history. Because for the simulation to be perceived as real by the people in it, you'd only need the things immediately around them to be generated. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we experience the world just for our senses, right? And so for a simulated being to believe that it's all happening, the argument is that like in a leg or whatever, if you're looking at your leg, what we believe everything in it is real, but it's not until we cut it open and then it's generated.
Yeah, totally.
So that's where the like computational power is like.
Yeah, so you only need to generate the skin and the shape.
Yeah.
Until you decide to break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like in a computer game when say you're playing whatever, GTA, when you're driving along the road in a car, the whole city isn't generated at that point. It's just the the area that's visible around you is generated. Like
or like that Rick and Morty.
Or like exactly that Rick and Morty.
Shaman and Malalian.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's only the sort of horizon is generated and then beyond that isn't. So the world isn't actually generated at once.
So it's almost like the world moves around you, kind of thing, in the bit that needs to be.
Yeah, and like going on an aeroplane is like a loading screen, like while it generates like a completely different area.
That anyway, I just thought if you were in like a Truman Show, it'd be a perfect like amount of time to change the set. Yeah. So it's like, oh fucking hell, they're going to Japan. We got to change everything.
Yeah,
let's make Japan 14 hours away.
Yeah, I always think about the concept of the Truman Show. That film, I love that film so deeply, but it really affected me like as a concept. I really often think about the concept of that movie. Like, not saying that like, I'm in my own Truman Show or anything, but just the concept of
which you're not, by the way.
I'm sure.
I'm definitely not an actor.
Sure. Yeah, but like, do you know what I mean? Like that exactly. Like the concept of how that could work.
Jim, we've been rumbled.
So
get out.
Fuck, where's the panic button?
You guys are such shit actors. Yeah, anyway.
We're so shit, we're the best.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Now I'm thinking about, like, you two being, like, global superstars, massive global celebrities.
We're the main characters.
Yeah, because you're in this shit Truman Show and it's following me, but you two are, like, my best buds that are like these huge celebrities outside of the world where we're not huge celebrities.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Since me and Jim got in the show, this like whole lockdown is the longest break we've had to go and live our real lives.
Yeah, it was. The ratings were failing, so they had to send us out to do a promo tour. That's where we are now.
Right, love it.
And some holiday time.
Love that.
Anyway, on with the simulation.
Continue.
So they were like the simple three steps that Elon Musk believes. It's the simplified version of it. Basically, there's 5 bigger assumptions that you have to get past in order for us to sort of realize that we are living in a simulation. So one that I've already sort of described is it possible to simulate consciousness? Because at the moment we can only scan a human brain with like MRI, which goes down to like a millimeter, and in order to scan a human brain properly, it needs to go down to something like nano something or other, and the waves that it would take would actually like vaporize a human brain. So we are a bit far off from being able to do that yet. But the assumption number 2 is that technological progress will not stop anytime soon. And we will develop into beings like post-humans, or essentially like gods, with the sort of technology that we have at hand and our understanding of the universe and everything like that. Which I always think is quite interesting, the idea of like post-human beings. And whenever you've looked into like ancient aliens and how they were perceived as gods to the people, like this is assuming that, you know, anybody was visited by a developed advanced human race, you know, in the ancient Egyptian times or whatever.
Yeah.
And that always just kind of like, it's been quite interesting. It's not necessarily something I 100% believe in.
What? Sorry.
The idea of post-humans being sort of godlike.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm in the passage of time, like humans reaching a technological point where, you know, they can go back in time and interplanetary humans and stuff like that. Like as a concept, I find that really believable. I mean, far more believable than religion itself. So, like, yeah, just as an idea and as a concept, you know, if
well, do you find it interesting? Like, if we are living in a simulation and they just wanted to quickly boost our development a bit, you know, things like building the pyramids or something like that could be a bit more like explained away by the fact that it's like in 2001, right, where the monolith changes everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, continue.
What kind of inspires you to sort of strive for something, or like
that kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like any bits of like human history that we don't really have a grasp on. You can sort of imagine that it could have been just a little tweak in the simulation or whatever. I mean, that's just my own like guesses. That's not anything that's actually part of this theory.
Okay.
The other thing is advanced civilizations don't destroy themselves. So that's assumption number 3. Because of the lifespan of the universe, and when we look out and we don't see any other alien life, and the fact that there's so many other like inhabitable planets that are like Earth, it leads to questions like, where the fuck is everyone? Are we all alone or what? Like, and have you ever heard of the Fermi paradox?
No.
That rings a bell.
It's the idea. It's the idea that there are great filters, and we are either behind one, or we've overcome it. And these are like massive challenges for civilization to overcome in order to be successful, like galaxy colonizing beings.
Okay.
Right. And some of the filters are either nuclear war, climate change, things like asteroids, or even like a generated black hole from like experiments gone wrong.
So if we get past 2020, that could be us.
So 2020
basically,
is our great filter.
Yeah.
But so the fact that we can't see any other alien life means that either we're the first people or the civilization to get as far as we have, and we haven't yet got past our filter. And maybe there's a filter like this for all life, and it never just gets. No civilization can get past it. They always end up destroying themselves. They always end up getting hit by an asteroid before they develop into galaxy exploring beings, that kind of thing, right? Or maybe we develop technology so far that it takes over.
AI and stuff.
Yeah. Or we're the first, and we are actually like pioneer civilization that are entering into uncharted territory, and we might go on and do this and be like the first civilization. And the fourth assumption is that super advanced civilizations want to run simulations, and that could either be for fun or just to make observations, because we have no idea what like a superhuman or like post-human like will do for fun, considering they probably have all this like computational power and everything available to them. One of the videos I watched was like them running a simulation might be their idea of just fun. And it's like trying to explain to a caveman what a theme park is. You just wouldn't get anywhere with it because they wouldn't understand.
It's like Roy in Rick and Morty. Like that's literally a simulation just for fun. But when you're in the simulation, it's a lifetime.
You don't know.
It's an entire lifetime. It's like you live to however long you can live, but like obviously it's like a 60, 70 year experience, or it feels that way when you're in it. So I don't know, just making that point.
Yeah. I think that the whole idea of us being in a simulation is less like we're playing a character in the simulation. You don't know it. It's that we are actually completely computer generated.
Whoa. Okay.
And that we are just abiding by these programmed laws of our universe that are basically code.
Holy fuck.
Like
right. So
force equals matter over, I mean, whatever that equation is, E equals mc squared. All these rules and stuff of our universe have just been programmed and might not actually have any similarities to the universe that we were simulated from.
Yeah.
For example.
Whoa.
So it's like we're like an artwork or something. Like we're from someone's something's imagination.
We're basically just a game that's been programmed, or maybe they're doing it to run tests to see how civilization developed in a certain way with certain atoms and elements available to them, or whatever. Like there's really no, or maybe it's for reasons that we can't even comprehend right now.
Holy fuck, that's totally changed my perspective. Like imagining a simulation where a real being is in the simulation playing it, like, for example, the game Roy from Rick and Morty. That's completely different to if everything is simulated. Like, I am part of the simulation. You're part of the simulation. No one is controlling us. We're literally part of the simulation. That's a totally different concept, which has made me totally.
I think my sort of assumption of a simulation is more kind of like along the Matrix kind of simulation, where you don't really, you're a physical being plugged in to kind of use your brain's computing power, kind of thing, to contribute to a simulation. Not I'm literally a computer.
Yeah, like you're literally the part of the game, like
part of a computer. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're basically just living in this pre-programmed world where everything obeys the laws of the code that's been written.
Yeah.
But you have this illusion of free will because they've been able to program a brain that acts like a brain.
Whoa. Holy fuck.
Right, isn't that fucking wild?
Yeah, it is wild.
And really, like, if they are to, like I said before, if they are to do that, they only have to simulate the brains of what the population of the Earth is for it to be like believable, and everything else just has to be like bare minimum code that reacts as it's supposed to.
Yeah.
The Matrix one is quite interesting though. So when I was thinking about that, I was like, well, why is there so much shit going on in the world? Like, maybe this is a test to see what life is like when you have Donald Trump as the leader of America, for example, or whatever. But in the Matrix, they had several different versions of it, didn't they? Because they tried one where everything was like perfect and good.
Yeah.
And people rejected it because they were like, this isn't believable.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, like it totally, as an idea, as a like a concept to study development of a society, a global society or whatever, over a course of thousands of years. I mean, it would, if you know, if you let a computer do that and just kind of organically create a society and let it go, I mean, it would be amazing to watch. So isn't it interesting that like this society,
like if you're playing Sim City and you're getting a bit bored and you're like, I'll just throw a tornado at that, see what happens.
Oh, is it, you know, it's just like, isn't it,
and like maybe now
isn't it interesting that, you know, at this point in modern society we're still having, for instance, like racial wars. And, you know, I don't know, you can kind of imagine the creators of the simulation looking at the computer screen at us being like, what? 2020 and they're fucking still like, what the fuck?
Like, look at these punks.
Right? Like, you know, didn't see that one coming. Thought they'd be ahead of that one.
Like, imagine there's another one that's been like set up at the same time as us, and they are so advanced they've colonized like half their galaxy, and we're still here like having fucking shit.
Yeah, like stupid ass like fucking racist people being dicks everywhere. Like, oh my god.
Look at these puny humans.
Look at these morons. Okay, have you got more to come, Mike, or have you dropped the bomb?
Yeah, so essentially the last point is that if there are lots of simulations and we do reach that point, then we are probably living in one, and it's safe to assume that there's potential for there to be billions of simulations in the future, or in the past, and we're just one of them. The odds are that we're actually in one. If we go past all of those assumptions, basically.
That is a mind blower,
right?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be walking around being really self-conscious, looking at my horizon, being like, is there anything beyond that? I'll be ringing Jay and be like, where are you? What are you doing? And he'll be like, oh, you know, I'm at home. And I'm like, no, you're not. You don't exist, punk. Fucking bullshit.
What I find weird about this whole theory, though, is that there's really, like, we've got no way of testing it. It's more of like a thought experiment, really, than anything else. But if it is true and we're living in a simulation, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't change anything.
I was waiting for you to ask if I'd been convinced, and my answer was going to be, it doesn't matter.
It literally doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't matter.
Why? Because
it doesn't make a difference. I feel like my consciousness exists to me. So
yeah, so it's because it's real. The simulation is a real experience to you, so it doesn't matter if it's a simulation or not. This is it.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go and sit in the living room with my 9-month-old daughter and be like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is all we're ever going to know, potentially. Like, it's not like you could let a simulation know that it's being simulated, I guess, because it would just end it, or like, I guess you just pull the power on it.
Yeah, like the battery in Rick and Morty.
I mean, Rick and Morty's way ahead of the curve on most of this stuff. Like, it really is.
We're actually being simulated by the creators of Rick and Morty.
It's some sick...
And then they just drop in a bit of Rick and Morty.
It's some sick, twisted joke that they've made Rick and Morty in the simulation. So we're watching Rick and Morty being like, whoa, that's so crazy. He's like, you idiots.
It's just another simulation.
Don't you find that fucking wild though, that we could literally be living in a piece of fucking code, some computer program, some computer generated like idea of reality? But then, like you say, Jim, it doesn't really fucking matter, because all we have to go on is our own experiences and our own consciousness to decide how we want to live life and be, whether it's real or not.
Like, even if
exactly, because unless if it ends and there's something else to go to, like Roy, then
Blitz and we're gonna wake up and
we'll find out when it ends. But
Blitz and Chits. That is wild, because like, if this is a simulation, like we just said, it's all real to us. It's all happening to us. We're inside the simulation. The simulation is our life. Whether we are, if we're just a piece of code, this is our reality. Like, because we have consciousness and the illusion of free will and everything like that. So, really,
it makes me think of the battery world in Rick and Morty as well, where he generates those worlds to just
the miniverse and the tinyverse.
They have a whole consciousness.
Yeah. I mean, when the miniverse inside the miniverse inside the miniverse, the designer of that, when he realizes it's a miniverse, and he's like, my father died when I couldn't go to the funeral because I was in here making this. And then
working on my.
So fucking genius! Like, it's fucking amazing. Oh man, I love that show so much.
So if I'm in my, we're having this conversation in my simulation.
Well, it's all of our we're all simulated.
So but is it like, your simulation is crossing over with mine and Matt's right now in our caves?
Or is it all part? Is it three? No, it's not.
Or
no,
are we all just part?
It's all part of the same thing.
We're the whole world, the whole universe that we are living in is a simulation.
I keep going back to the sort of Matrix idea,
where it centers
like
around you. Where it centers around you. But what we're talking about is, like, imagine
we're all advanced Sims.
Yeah. Imagine, exactly, the Sims or GTA. Like, everyone, when you're looking at the screen and you're seeing all the Sims, or when you're looking at the screen, you're seeing everybody walking around the GTA city. They are us. Like, their world is real to them, just like it is to us. But the whole thing is obviously manufactured.
Like, what are those guys in that game doing when you see a little group of men on the corner having a chat?
Right.
They are in a simulation.
See, but that's the thing. So they're just doing what they're programmed to do, whereas we're assuming that we've reached a stage where we can program a human brain to recreate consciousness and have its own free will and make its own decisions.
But what if they actually do have their own free will and we don't know it? And it only ends when you turn the PlayStation off.
When are they going to turn the PlayStation off on us?
Yeah, and they're like, why do I keep reloading at the same bit?
Right.
Like, why are we having this conversation? Maybe that's what deja vus are.
God. Oh shit! Maybe that's when they switch it back on.
In the Matrix, it's a glitch, isn't it? Deja vu, it's a glitch in the Matrix.
They've reloaded because they keep dying.
So they actually address that in Dark.
Whoa!
Season 3.
I haven't seen that.
Don't tell me about season 3, because I'm just about to start it and I literally can't fucking wait.
Season 3?
Yeah.
Jim, if you haven't watched Dark...
Jim, it's one of the best fucking things.
Dark might be the best thing I've ever watched. Like, it's so fucking good.
Okay.
Like, the concept, how they've done it is so real and plausible and intricate. Oh my God, it's just amazing. Also, the actors are incredible. You have to watch that show.
Without giving anything away, it starts off really slow. Like, the pacing of the whole thing is done so well. So you just sort of gradually get introduced to the ideas that they're sort of toying with as the series goes on. In the last season, a season worth of stuff happens in every episode, and I'm there just like with my jaw on the floor trying to work out what the fuck's going on, because it feels like you've got to have a degree watching this program, like in
awesome.
Yeah, in time travel.
Oh my God.
I think I might have watched the first episode of the first season back in the day when it first came out, and I can vaguely remember just being like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, it's really fucking.
So I'll put it off.
It's powerfully heavy.
It's
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a browsy one. You have to really devote your whole time to
but
it.
like it's one of those
Okay.
shows that you just get
Cool.
obsessed by. Like you can't wait to watch the next one and stuff.
Yes.
It's amazing.
This has been an advert for Dark. You've been listening to in my
Yeah.
simulation.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
It'd be nice to have sponsors, wouldn't it?
Not getting
It'd
paid.
be nice. That'd be cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who do you want to be sponsored by? Who should we go after?
I really don't know.
Got to pick a company whose afterlife might be quite interesting. So then you get like a free upload.
Yeah, totally.
At the end
Maybe
of it all.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
SpaceX.
Oh, I recommend that, by the way. It's a good show. Upload.
upload. Really.
It's a nice easy watch.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a weird one with the simulation chat because it's kind of open ended. There isn't really any end to the conversation because obviously it's just a theory.
No, but like if you just sort of follow the odds and the numbers and you sort of get your mind around some of the assumptions, then it's like, okay, well, chances are we are, but you know, it doesn't
Yeah,
fucking matter.
it doesn't matter. That's the weird thing because if it is, it doesn't really change anything. Who do you know? Like who the other sort of intellects and stuff are that believe this theory?
Well, I listened to a podcast with Brian Cox on there, sort of explaining it. Yeah, if people want to find out more, there's loads more out there about this.
Does Brian Cox
and this is very, very surface level.
Does Brian Cox believe in it? Does he buy into that?
Yeah, he's like, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. He's like surprised at how much sense it makes.
Damn.
He's the everyman scientist as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
I can relate to
Yeah.
him. So if he says,
especially us, because he used to be a musician.
Did
right?
he?
yeah, D-Ream,
No way. Billions and billions of stars.
things can only get better. He knew back then.
Can only get... Is that not Take That?
I think that's D-Ream. I don't know. Should I get my goblin?
Yeah.
Is my goblin
Well,
even
probably
real?
not. Probably not. I mean, it's sort of hasn't taken the wind out of my sails realizing that maybe all this is fake, but it sort of has. If it's fake, why is everything so hard? Couldn't they make it? I mean,
Yeah.
couldn't they make it like, you know, more easy?
More like a game.
Like, you
More-
know, yeah.
And like, kind of, what plane of existence do we exist in? Like, are we just bits of code where everything's playing out and you can go backwards and forwards through time and have a look at it? And like, you know, where would you be looking at it from? Like, do they put on a headset and there's like a fake camera looking at us or something? Or like, what? How?
Yeah, and what are they? What are
Yeah.
the things that are
Do
running
people see things from your perspective so you can sort of scroll through points of view of, because obviously in the world there's like every type of person with every type of experience, so you can look through the eyes of anybody with any experience and experience that experience,
All the embarrassing shit
Yeah.
you've ever done.
you know,
Just
just out there.
this? Just there on a hard drive somewhere.
some like mega being is watching this like, you stupid arsehole. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
hard
it
one to
is.
get your head
It's
around, isn't
super
it?
interesting.
Do you feel like you've been convinced by it, Matt? Do you feel like you're now just ones and zeros, or the equivalent of?
I mean, it's not that I haven't been convinced or I have been convinced. I just think it's plausible for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's the main thing. I think that I
you
needed
know.
to plant the seed. Like, what I'll send you some other materials like to watch and read, because it is fucking so fascinating once you start getting into it. And like I said, this is obviously just scratching the surface. I have absolutely no knowledge. I'm regurgitating facts here, and I might not have done a very good job to be honest.
Oh, I don't know. I think that's pretty
Well, you
convincing
sound-
stuff.
I think you did a pretty
What has
good
this
job,
been,
man.
about 32 minutes, and I'm
But-
convinced.
Sweet.
I mean, you know that I'm fucking, you know, I usually think stuff is pretty plausible pretty quickly. So,
You're saying that you're gullible.
you know, no, I'm not gullible, but
Open-minded.
I have a very open mind.
Yeah.
I have a very
You're
open mind.
Duchovny in X-Files. You want to believe.
Exactly. All right, nail on the head.
Yeah.
Nail on the head. I want to believe.
Yeah.
I'm Duchovny in the X-Files. Nail on the head. So yeah, so I'm down.
Yeah, that's
I'd definitely like to read more about it.
that's all I got for you today.
Yeah, you should share some reading material on socials. I think I'd like to see some more. I'd like to see some more stuff.
Yeah, there's some really cool videos.
Yeah, Mike, you should do like anything you're reading like about this stuff. You should just start to post from Dinosaur, being like, "Been reading this." If you listen to the podcast, been reading this.
Yeah,
because
that's a good shout. I will.
Because I'm sure people listening might want some extra reading stuff. We haven't been posting very much anyway because everything's weird and we're sort of, feeling isolated and depressed and stuff. So but
I guess we can start getting in a room together soon, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I really hope so, man. Yeah, really.
We're in that grey area where we're sort of coming out of lockdown, but nobody still knows what's going on. I was having this discussion the other day. Like, I wish that there was a point where we'd sort of got the vaccine sorted and we could go to the pub, for example, as more of a celebration rather than like, should we be going?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Yeah, like I was looking at the images, right, on the news this morning.
We should probably say at this point
last
that
night.
We're recording this the day after the pubs reopened.
Yes, true.
Yeah, we're recording this July 5th. So in the UK, the pubs opened yesterday.
Yeah,
so
by the time we're listening to this, we could all be dead.
Yeah.
You mean someone turned off the simulator?
Yeah. And like, I was looking at the images, right, of like Soho, literally like hundreds of thousands of people, shoulder to shoulder, pissed out of their minds.
Yeah.
And I was like, so we can't play a gig, go on tour, play a festival. We can't go to our rehearsal space and rehearse because it's not legally allowed to be open right now.
Yeah.
Yet the pubs are open and people are able to do that just so they can buy a pint.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, the music industry is literally like crumbling, like, dead stop. Yet pubs are open so people can buy a beer, and I'm like, wait, what's the difference?
Yeah, so is that pressure from like the breweries or like the whole hospitality industry just being like, listen, we can't fucking go on anymore like this? Because surely there's going to be pressure from the music industry as well, which is a £1 billion industry in the UK. I just think it's really really irresponsible for them to open the pubs and not think that this was going to happen. Like, of course it was going to happen. Loads of drunk people being together in the street for the first time in months. Of course they're going to all be together next to each other and not give a fuck about social distancing. They're all pissed. Yeah. But if you're going to allow that, then you might as well allow gigs.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying that's people's choice, that's people's choice to go to the pub, or that's people's choice to go to a gig or whatever.
Mm.
And it's weird because on that side of the argument, I'm like, okay, so if that's allowed, why wouldn't you open gigs up and allow people to go to gigs? Then obviously on the other side of that, it's like, well, okay, now if pubs are open, restaurants are open, gigs are open, life is basically back to normal, but the virus is still there and there's no vaccine. Then you've got the problem.
That's why we're too far ahead. We shouldn't have been open in the pub.
Yeah.
And I don't think gigs should be going on. That's just like for the sake of arguing. I 100% agree with you. It just feels too soon.
Yeah. So I think, one, it's all really hypocritical and dumb and unsafe, but also I think it's going to throw us probably back into a lockdown or something. I just don't know, like, really.
Yeah, that's it. If it is kind of economic pressure, which it probably almost certainly is, like everything's on its arse. It's very short-sighted just to be like, well, let's just see what happens, because it will just get worse, and then we'll be shut down for even longer next time because there'll be even more sickness. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
or just prolong the whole
like America. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll reinstate lockdowns because the economy took such a hit. But then again, obviously, from our perspective, we're like, well, when people's lives are at stake, that's more important, surely, than the economy. But obviously, the governments of seemingly all the countries aren't really looking at it like that anymore, which is really confusing.
Did you see that Kanye's supposedly running for president?
I did. That's fucking wild.
Yeah. I mean, dude, but that's just to split votes. That's just to split votes. So to take votes away from Biden. Like,
I think it's because we're living in a simulation, man. They're just throwing all kinds of shit at us now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like everything. The virus didn't stop us. So let's put Kanye up for president.
Yeah, I was reading about that this morning, and because I was like, "What? This can't be for real." But then a lot of people out there are being like, "It's literally just to split votes."
Wow.
So yeah, to take votes away from Biden and stuff to give Trump a stronger base.
Wow, fucking hell.
Pretty dark. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's enough. I mean, we managed to get through 9 episodes of the Cosmic Barbecue without talking about all the politics and shit surrounding the lockdown. Not bad going.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, just hard to ignore right now. There's like so much going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mikey, I really enjoyed that simulation chat. Like,
yeah, me too, man. That was great.
More of that. I'd be down for more of that.
I'll bring some more theories in future apps.
I love a good theory.
Yeah.
I just love a theory.
Yeah, I find
love
it
a theory. All right, I'm gonna bounce.
I'm gonna go drink a simulated beer.
Yeah, I think I might as well, because it doesn't matter.
I might do that.
Yeah.
If time,
because nothing matters.
Yeah, if time is part of my simulation or our general simulation, it's just a construct. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It is.
Also, it's nearly
Doesn't
5
matter.
o'clock, and there you go. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
And it's 5 o'clock here.
Here.
Yeah. So
In our reality right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I can't wait for you to watch Dark Season 3, Matt. I need to speak to you about it all. But anyway.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait. I literally can't wait.
Right, have a good one, boys.
Yeah, love you, bros. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.